G'day, I'm Brett Hooker and my channel is I Love Dirt. And I'm going to do a video today about how much gear you can store in the nose cone of an ultimate camper. Now these campers have been around for decades, must be 27, 28 years now. Ours is coming up to 2.5 years old, done a lot of miles in it. When we were looking at buying a true off-road camper, something that we could literally take anywhere in Australia, we looked at a whole different bunch of models. We actually bought a few different ones, and we found this was the best balance of different capabilities to suit what we wanted. We wanted to be able to get inside, away from insects, away from rain, but I also wanted some outside capability with a kitchen on the outside and gas on the outside and things like that. It needed to be true off-road, so I could take it in the desert, lots of water, lots of power. And then this one was important, lots of storage. And compared to some of the other trailers I'd owned and I'd looked at, I was a bit concerned about where the storage areas would be in this camper. It's got so much capability with, a 4-seater leather lounge inside, 3-burner kitchen, fridge, king-size bed, heaps of stuff inside. But people had been asking me, and I'd been asking myself when I was looking, it's like, oh, how am I going to go on storage? And I'm here to tell you there's so much storage. Today's video is just going to focus on the nose cone, but in other videos I'll actually go around and show the outside storage hatches, but I'll also show the kitchen cupboards and all the storage there, but also the hatches inside. So this trailer has a heap of storage, but today's video I'm going to focus entirely on how much stuff you can get in the nose cone. People do make fun of me about this and they go, oh my goodness Brett, you take a lot of stuff. But I do like having my gear, and I do like being able to do different things when I go camping. And so I'm going to set the cameras up here and I'm going to unpack the nose cone so you can see all the stuff that I can fit in the nose cone of an Ulti. Cheers! Alright, first things first, I'll get a tarp out so we can put all the gear on it, and we'll just get into it. Cheers! So I'll start with my tarp. I clearly label these bags to try and make it easy to find everything. I always carry a tarp because if the ground's really dusty or the ground's wet, which sometimes happens when I go camping, it's always good to have a tarp. So you've got somewhere dry to put your gear. Alright, so tarp down first. Alright, tarp's there. Let's just start getting the gear out. That's my ramp. So I've got a ramp for leveling the trailer. They're my wheel chocks. They get really dirty and wet, so I've got them in a canvas bag. My hammer and pegs. Alright, that's a ground sheet for our shower ensuite room. That's the jack stand for I've got an ARB jack. That's the jack stand for that jack, but it also makes a great wheel stand for the jockey wheel. Alright, that's a wedge for my ramp. That's a grass mat, a muck mat for our stairs so that we don't walk muck into the camper. Here's one of our chairs, so Snow Peak Low camping chair. A second Snow Peak Low camping chair. This one here, this big one, that is the stainless steel table that attaches to the side of the camper. So that's a big outside camper table. That's a bag with some rubber mats and some boot mats that we can use to put around the camper to wipe our boots before we come out. That bag's usually got a vacuum cleaner in it, a little Makita vacuum cleaner. If you're enjoying the content we're producing on the I Love Dirt channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the like button to let other people know what we're doing and for you to stay up to date with the content we're producing. Here's my Makita blower, so we can blow dust and things off the camper before we open it up when we've been in the outback. There's my big Safari 250 watt high voltage solar panels. This is 2 campfire tables, Uniflame campfire tables, the big one and the small one, in a single bag. Here's a large sea gear mat. We use that either along the back of the camper or along the side of the camper, depending on how we set up. That one there, that's the ensuite, that's the shower room. That's my bucket for grey water. If I'm just emptying out from the grey water tank here into a bucket, so that's my bucket for that. This is all my wet gear, so drainage hoses, shower hoses, all that kind of stuff. Now, I've got 3 canvas bags there. They're firewood bags. So I load them up with firewood and I strap them on top of the camper. So just some canvas bags. All right. This one, I'm going to check the label. All right. That's a wall. So I've got a canvas wall that goes when the awning's up. I can put a canvas wall out around the front just to create a bit of a shade or a wind block around the front of the camper. This is the device with the legs on the camper. This is the device for lifting the legs up and down for leveling. I've got a shower board there, a duck board, for if the area that we're in is really, really muddy and dirty and whatever else, you can stand on that when you're having a shower. I've got a dustpan and brush. That bag there's all my guy ropes. This one might be a bit hard to lift out, but let's see how we go. All right, that's a milk crate in a drifter bag, and I won't pull all the gear out, but it's full of Makita tools and ropes, pliers, wire, rope, spares, all that kind of stuff. So, box full of tools and gear. What else have I got down here? Oh yeah, spare rope. You should always have spare rope. And a bag of sand pegs. Okay, what else? All right, this bag here has the awning extensions that go along the back and along the side, and a mesh wall, a silver mesh wall. That's always in there. Just creates extra shade and cover around the camper when I want it, and the mesh wall gives us a bit of privacy or a bit of wind resistance when I'm cooking and doing things on the kitchen side of the trailer. All right, got some Barbie wipes in there for cleaning my barbecue. That's a set of legs for my Snow Peak fire pit. That is a skirt that goes along the back of the camper, so if we're trying to close the room off the back, keeping drafts off that back area when we're sitting outside, that's a skirt for that. This one is an infill wall, again around the back of the camper. I can have a large wall, this wall to fill in where the underneath room would normally go, the skirt, and I can really sort of block off that whole area from wind and dust and rain and things like that. Okay, that's everything. Oh no, a couple more things. A bag of pegs and a DO35 hitch lock. All right, I'm just going to grab things. Oh no, I can get a couple more from this side. Window clears. If you want to take the canvas down and the windows up in the camper, and but it's rainy or it's windy or it's cold, and you still want to be able to close the windows, they're clears that velcro in, so you still got a view outside, but closes off the windows so you don't get the weather coming in. So that's the window clears. All right, this is a bag of poles, a bag of super peg poles that we use to put the extension awnings up when we need them. All right, just go around the other side now. I'll carry these around as I go. So, I've got my camp oven and my mixing bowls and things that go with the camp oven. I got my 240 volt charging cable, so that's a 15 to 10 amp converter cable, and just a regular 240 volt lead. I've got a pillow for the back of our Snow Peak chairs, Snow Peak campfire mitts. I've got a folding step stool. I'm only 5'8". Sometimes I need to be able to reach things, so I've got a folding step stool. Little drifter shovel kit. I use this for managing coals and digging out coals when I'm doing campfire cooking. I've got a Snow Peak side table. This is the metal top one, so I can use it around the campfire. I've got my Snow Peak fire tongs. This one is my Makita reciprocating saw. I use this for chopping up firewood. Much easier to use than a chainsaw. I've got demolition blades with it. 18 volt rechargeable in a Snow Peak tote. Really nice and neat. This is a USB powered set of shoe dryers. So if your boots get wet on the inside or something like that, I can pop them inside and they'll dry the boots out overnight. There's my Snow Peak medium fireplace, fire pit and accessories. This is my bag of accessories for my barbecue. So I've got some silicone gloves, a roasting rack, spare hose, a bunch of different things in there. So that's for my barbie. All right, we're getting there. I've got extension cords for my solar panels, so I'll pop them down here with the electrical. So one for each set of panels and a spare cord just as if I need a bit of extra distance. So cords for my solar panels. This is the 300 watt Red Arc foldable solar panel, and it fits nicely in one of the drifter bootliner bags for the square gas ovens. So that's a solar panel. I've already put the other solar panel out there, and I've got a third solar panel up on top, hence why I've got 3 leads for them. I've got one of those moisture absorbers in the nose cone. I normally have 2 of them in. I'm going to top them up when I get back home, just in case I get any moisture in the nose cone. These guys soak up the moisture. They're a really good idea. I just get them from Bunnings. Almost there. I've got a charcoal starter. So this is one of those little chimneys that you use. Pour charcoal in it, fire it up, get your charcoal started, and away you go. This is a Uniflame one in a drifter bootliner bag. And the second last thing, because I saw one more thing in there, this is my Ziggy barbecue. I have both a Weber and a Ziggy. I use the Ziggy and the Ulti because it folds flat on the top, so it makes it easy to pack things around it. So that's my Ziggy barbecue. It goes on the side table, it goes on the side of the camper, and there's a gas inlet on the side of the camper for that. And one more thing, which is a set of trivet trays, a set of trivet frames for the barbecue. So that is everything that goes in my nose cone, and as you can see, there's a ton of gear there, but it allows me to do all kinds of different sorts of camps, all sorts of different types of cooking and configuration. So that makes me happy, and it all fits in there nice and stable and neat. And when I go off-roading, I do a lot of stuff out in the desert. It gets a bit rough out there. All of that sits in nicely. Now, one of the things you'll see is there's a lot of bags, a lot of bootliner bags and canvas bags. And the reason I do that is it keeps everything in one position, and it stops things rubbing on each other and wearing each other. So I find bags are really useful for that. All right, so there's an insight into everything. Now, just to give you an idea what that does to the weight. So I weighed this camper with all this gear in it, plus a full front water tank, full rear water tank, all the gear inside. I weighed it before I left, and it was about 130 kilos on the ball. I'll show you that with a Heyman Reese tow ball scale, at about 130 kilos on the ball, so quite reasonable on the ball weight, no problem there. If I need to go light because I'm going in the desert and I want it super light, whatever else, then there's a bunch of stuff here I can take out, right? I don't have to take all of this every time I go camping. So if I'm going for a lightweight camp, you know, the barbecue's gone, you know, 2 out of the 3 solar panels are gone, the extensions, the mesh floors, there's a lot of stuff that just goes. And then I end up with a lot of free space in the front. Really lightens the camper up. The lightest I've been able to get it down to is 90 kilos on the ball. That was with a full water tank at the back and no water on the front. So, but obviously you want to make sure your overall trailer weight's balanced for that as well. You don't want a trailer that's too light on the ball. Anyway, as you see, all that gear fits in the nose cone, so you can get plenty of gear in the nose cone of an Ulti. It all packs in quite neatly. As you saw, it was everything in a place, and I can get to it all pretty easily. So there you go. So if you're wondering about whether you can get gear in the nose cone of an Ulti, you're thinking about an Ulti, if I can get all that in there, I'm sure you can find a way to get what you want to take in your nose cone. And there you have it. Everything packed back up again and into the nose cone, tickety-boo. So, love it. Love my Ulti. Gets me anywhere I want to go. I can take all my gear with me. We can get inside, out of the rain, out of the insects, cook inside, cook outside. Just fantastic. So, I'll see you out there. Cheers.